How many of you believe that to be true? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm not going to tell any bad jokes that I'm a fun guy. I'm not here to say that. We've heard that before. But I will tell you, I didn't start out this way. Came from a military family. Grandfather was a sub-commander. Father was an Air Force colonel. I got to see a lot of interesting places. Got to race camels, right? Lost my sponsor. So, I was next in line filling out applications for the Air Force Academy. I think there's a lot of pressure, right? To go into the military, if you're a military family. But my senior year in high school, the Berlin Wall came down. And I decided to grow mushrooms instead. Right? And now I'm a recruiter. I'm recruiting my army, my Earth Army. And you're looking at them right there. Right? So I do a lot of educating. Schools devoted a chapter on fungi in the classroom. The standards are missing from the teaching standards. So now I believe that we should retrofit all of our military planes to drop mushrooms everywhere. And I call these mushroom rescue modules, and I'm here to give you this message because I could use your help. I really could. We need to get this in place. Like I said, I did live in Syria. I spent a year there, Syria and Cairo. It's gotten a lot worse. It's highly affecting me. I see it. It's a really good culture. And you see these refugee camps all over the world. They're not getting any smaller, you know? So this is where the aid needs to go. This is where these mushroom rescue modules need to be dropped, even if it's behind enemy lines. This is, hot off the press. The refugees moving through Syria and Turkey up into Europe. We've all seen this on the news. I love this here. We will help them next year. Right? That's why I have the slide up there. Do they need help next year? They need help right now. What are we waiting on? Ask my wife, Olga, from Croatia. Do you think she was displaced during the Bosnian War? Absolutely. Lost everything. In the wake of natural disasters, tsunamis and earthquakes, are there cultures in need that have lost everything? Of course. This is yesterday morning. Are there families that have lost everything that could use food and clean water? Absolutely. The thing with natural disasters and war-torn areas, there's debris everywhere. Can we eat this? Can anybody dive into this and just start eating this debris? No. Can mushrooms eat this debris? Absolutely. And then we can eat the mushrooms, right after that. There's lots of paper and cardboard in here that we can use. And see, I can grow mushrooms on just about anything. I should have wore these jeans to the show. I should have had those on today. I'll wear them to lunch. You can eat mushrooms off of my body for lunch. How about that? All right. This is what I'm talking about, airdropping. These are mushroom rescue modules that can be stuffed full of debris, paper and cardboard and scrap clothing. That you get this type of fruiting, edible protein, in 3 weeks. It's rapid. We have strains, tropical strains. We can drop these behind enemy lines where villages are running out of food and clean water. These are images of mushrooms that we designed for Haiti, okay? This is a mother culture. I'm going to be teaching this later on in the workshop, okay, in the afternoon. The power of this mycelium is amazing. It's like a bread culture. You can keep expanding it. So I'm teaching a method of growing mushrooms on trash and debris and media, all right, in little or no infrastructure, and you get this mushroom production, and you get this perpetuation of the culture, which means you get soil, right, where there isn't any. And then you can cultivate those fruits and vegetables in the soil, all right? Then we can also filter water, which is amazing. So when you do the mushroom math, right, you have this exponential expansion of mycelium at a factor of 10, which means 10 buckets. If you take this one bucket and make 10, okay, you can keep expanding your 9 best one, or your best pick of the litter. But you take one culture here and expand it into 10, what's 9 times 10? Mushroom math, 90 every single week. This one bucket, if we can get it into the village, if we can airdrop that one bucket and expand them into those bins, a village can fruit 4,000 to 5,000 pounds of mushrooms a week. All right, that's a lot of food. All right, so I teach how to grow mushrooms on cardboard. This is some of my students and kids down in Haiti. And we literally walked through the village and we were cleaning up. They found value in the trash now that was in the ditches, right, that they didn't see before. Look at them smiling, like, well, I can't believe we're cleaning up the village here and we're actually expanding mushroom cultures, right, on the debris and producing mushrooms out of buckets in 3 weeks, that we can perpetuate this anywhere on the planet where high protein is needed. And also vitamin D. Mushrooms are extremely high in vitamin D, the only non-animal source of vitamin D. Great for disease resistance, right? So we have these mushroom pots that can also be used to filter water, which is amazing. They're basically a micron filter. So we have this ability to produce mushrooms and run water through that could be contaminated, especially when you're thinking about drinking water in Haiti. Would any of you drink water out of a ditch in Haiti? No way. How about New Bedford? Same thing. Sorry, New Bedford. It's the same thing in South Carolina, right? But Vibrio cholera is an interesting organism, but the fact is Vibrio sticks to chitin, and mushroom mycelium is composed of chitin. Sticks like a magnet. What a miracle that we can filter water through a chitinous filter made of mycelium, get food in 3 weeks, and also strip out biological contaminants, right? That's a solution. We should be following through with this. Mushrooms also, this is our debris pile in South Carolina. These are mushrooms modules that I grow indoors, and this is our compost pile. You know, Max was talking about people getting out of prison. These are mushrooms that got out of prison, right? They just exploded, but they also produce octanol. Octanol is a mushroom alcohol. It's very fruity, and a lot of organisms are attracted to this, including fungus gnats, slugs, and also mosquitoes. In fact, female mosquitoes actually meal feed on the fruiting bodies of oyster mushrooms. Meal feeding. They need a meal feed to reproduce. So right now, we're collaborating with some partners overseas. We're going to start in the Philippines, and we can do this anywhere in the world. So if you know anybody who wants to do this, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. That is a metarhizium, so it's also being attacked by a fungus. It's a target-specific entomopathogenic fungus that kills disease-carrying malarial mosquitoes and inactivates the malarial parasite in the females. Right? Awesome. So, envision this. We can put these mushroom rescue modules in the villages. We provide food in just weeks. We perpetuate the culture. We filter water. We place the mushroom rescue modules on the outskirts of the village, and the disease-carrying mosquitoes vector towards that site where they can be attacked by another fungus. Right? Let's protect the villages. And I'm doing the same thing in my village in South Carolina. All right, except I'm going after invasive pests without the use of chemical pesticides. This is a cordyceps mushroom. All right, they probably have them up here. They are mind-controlling fungi. I think one of these got a hold of my brain. But we can clone things like this. We find them, these are native, and they are target-specific for a very narrow clade of insects here. And when you look on the EPA website, this is acephate, so this is basically orthene that you would put on a fire ant pile. How many of you have been to the south and have been bitten by fire ants? Don't you love that? You love them? Do you have fire ants here? Well, I brought some. I put them out back for you guys. You're welcome. But you see, when you look at the fire ant killers, there's just 7.5 billion pounds of active ingredient going on U.S. soil every single year. That's the active ingredient that's working its way into our water supply. This is what we're drinking, okay? We're poisoning ourselves with these compounds. If we go out and find insects that are mummified, we can use those as target-specific fungi. right? This will lessen the load on our water. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill. How many of you remember that? Right? You still think about it? I do. In fact, I slept on the couch that couple of weeks. I was nauseous. I was sleeping on the couch watching, you remember the underwater video feed of it just bubbling? I could not stop watching it. It was like, this thing's bleeding to death. How can we stop this? All right. So what we did was to empower ourselves. To get me off the couch is Olga created this most wanted mushrooms poster, right? And we distributed it down to the Gulf. But here's the key lay-in word, right? Anyone can help if we find salt-tolerant mushrooms, salt-tolerant strains that we can use to help biodegrade this oil that we're pulling out. All right, and this actually holds true because we did get some hits. We did get some specimens turned in. Look at this. This is right on the ocean, and this is wet, salty sand. Did you ever think mushrooms grow in the surf? I didn't either. And I've been doing this for 22 years. We just had to look. Fungi are everywhere, all right? So we can clone those, and this is a mushroom fungus actually breaking down motor oil in the lab, directly out of the bottle. This is 10 weight 30, you know? It was eating it. Mushrooms get hungry and they get desperate. So would you. We also have a fungus that we've cultured out. Yale made this discovery in the Amazon. This is a fungus that eats plastic. Holy cow. Right? We should be worshiping mushrooms here. All right? I get phone calls every day, emails. And the other day I get one that says, hey, I heard you're looking for strange mushrooms. I found one growing out of a bowling ball. You want it? What do you think? Yeah, absolutely. Right? We have to fix this bowling ball problem. There's just too many of them. But you can see what it leads into, right? These inter-kingdom interactions. I study fungi attacking bacteria. Our lab is EPA grade. We've spent a lot of family money building the business. This is a mushroom attacking another fungus. This is an important discovery that I made while I was at the EPA. You can see it looks like an invasion map, doesn't it? Observation. If we look deep into nature, we'll find the solutions for everything. I looked closer, and this is it. The fungus, one day later, carpet bombing that other fungus on the plate. What was it doing? It was producing novel antifungal compounds, right? So I culture out these galleries now. I make these little gladiator matches in my lab, put fungus on one side, maybe a bacteria on the other, and I watch them fight and battle it out. Doesn't that sound exciting? Of course. This is what I do on Friday nights. I have a beer, I walk into the lab, and that's my cable. I don't have cable. This is Shroom TV. The problem is drug resistance. Gosh, I hope that doesn't happen. In 2 to 2.5 years, bacteria become drug resistant to our antibiotics. It takes 12.5 to 15 years to develop an FDA-approved pharmaceutical drug target-specific for those bacteria. 2.5 years, they figure it out. So who's winning the race? We're not. But we've come up with some ideas, and this may not look like much right here. This is what we're calling a pharmaceutical company in a bag. And I want you to understand how dangerous this might be, right? Yeah. So we're basically invented these bags that we can, at even our hospitals here, but also abroad in villages. How many of you have ever had strep throat? Strep throat. Yeah. So is strep becoming drug resistant? Sure, just like everything else. What about, let's think about the mushroom of the hospital of the future in Mycotopia. What would that healing center look like, right? We'll take your throat culture, we will insert it into the pathogen reservoir through an injectable port. We'll hydrate the cake, and then out in the metabolite reservoir, this is 24 hours later. 24 hours later, the metabolite sweats out here, and then I could harvest it out. So imagine going into the healing center the next day, you can pick up your target-specific antibiotic just for you. for every single patient. It's called ecotype resistance. Bacteria have a very difficult time getting past this. So this is really, really exciting. And I really, honestly can't sleep anymore. I am jacked up on fungi, right? And I hope you are too. Because our lab now, we have staph collections. You can see the metabolite. You've got Ganoderma. This is a reishi mushroom, the mushroom of immortality that's attacking strep, mushroom of immortality. I've been taking this for 300 years. And salmonella, right, against salmonella. So we're seeing this over and over. But that 20 milliliters may not have looked like a lot that I sucked out of that bag. But when you dilute it 10 to the 6th, that 20 milliliters is still active. It's still active 10 to the 6th. So 20 milliliters becomes 20,000 liters. That's 528 gallons of antibiotics, right? It's a lot. It's exciting. So the greatest news I can offer you today is that we're collaborating with the University, Clemson, and we're going through all these trials against MRSA and vancomycin-resistant E. coli. And I can honestly tell you, I got an email a couple weeks ago. I woke up in Colorado giving this lecture, and the email said, we have had a hit. Ganoderma lucidum, the mushroom of immortality, is active in forming inhibition against MRSA in the lab. So that's really exciting. This is just the beginning. There's 1.5 million fungi on the planet. I only have 200 species in my collection, so it's time to go out shopping. All right. I am weaponizing the planet with spores. That's my idea of going to war. You can see my uniform, right? And I know this looks suspicious. And kids, do not try this. It doesn't work, okay? But it does work for remediation. This is how you harvest spores. So something fun you can do. How many of you have a bird feeder, all right, in your yard? You track the wildlife. Well, you see, the kids aren't enough. I need to infect things, right? See, here comes the army. You sporulate your bird seed, and we weaponize the wildlife that comes to your bird seed feeders. Here are my F-16s coming in for their payload, all right? And here come my stealth bombers. What goes in must come out. Spores landing and bombing, going on bombing runs to try to remediate all this stumps and recycled debris everywhere. This is how I like to dream, you know? This is the world I want to live in. I want to dive into that slide, don't you? And walk around, look for mushrooms, maybe. So, you know what I like about culturing mushrooms, especially making shapes on like a Friday or Saturday night, is this grows. It spreads on a plate, just like it should spread, all right, in this room. And when you have peace, when you can develop a sense of peace, if we can heal our enemies instead of bombing them, heal them, I think it's going to come back, right? If we have peace, we have love, and if we have love, we have happiness. So let's be happy together.
I'm sorry, this came for you.
Okay.
I hope it's not the FBI.
Uh-oh. Okay, thank you. This is weird. Is this weird? It says urgent. Please deliver to Trad Cotter at the theater at exactly 10:40 a.m. in 2015. That's strange. It's actually postmarked October 24th, 2035. I shouldn't open it, right? I shouldn't open it. No. Let's don't do it. Yes? How many want to open it? All right. To the people of Connecting for Change Conference, thank you. Thank you for coming together, and thank you for following through with all these ideas at the conference. The world is a better place. There's food, plentiful food, clean water, and no antibiotic-resistant germs, right? That's odd because this letter was sent to me by my daughter. And she also said that the organic tomatoes are amazing. Signed, Heidi Hazel Cotter, ambassador to Mycotopia. All right, let's all be ambassadors together, and let's fix this. Thank you.